name?
Hi, my name is Eliza.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
What do you do?
I'm an addictions counselor at NAMS.
Describe your day in 3 words.
Oh, 3 words only. So, attend, understand and validate.
What does NAMS stand for?
NAMS stands for National Addictions Management Service.
How long have you been at NAMS?
Currently it's my 14th year.
How much coffee do you drink on a work day?
About 1 to 2 cups.
What was your first impression of NAMS?
So 4 things comes to mind. One is Dungeon, Secret Garden, Ali Mabio and Kampong. The Dungeon is the part because when I first came, our office was actually at the basement, so it was really very dark for us. And the Secret Garden is because at the entrance of this office, right, we actually had a very nice garden there, which is what we really like. Ali Mabio part is because we had unisex toilets, like in the show. And the last part about Kampong is because when I first came, we didn't have our own clinic like now. So sometimes we had to see our clients in the waiting area. But clients were always very appreciative. They didn't mind it. And working together in the team that we have at the time, it was smaller. It was a lot of like a Kampong spirit, with a lot of cooperation and a lot of support.
So what is your current favorite song?
Currently what comes to mind is Today My Life Begins by Bruno Mars.
What is your most memorable time in NAMS?
13 years is actually a very long time, so it's very hard for me to just choose one. Too many memories.
Okay, so what about your most meaningful encounter at NAMS?
I can't really pick one. There was really too many, and every one of my encounters with at NAMS with my patients or with other people here, right, has been meaningful in very different ways. But what I did learn is that I learned to appreciate people as themselves, especially my clients, and also I learned to really listen to their stories, to validate their accounts, and also to move with them. So, like for example, one of my clients many years back, she was sharing that she can't forgive her husband for the hurts that he did to her. And if anyone forced her, it will be very painful for her because she worried that her gut will be down and then the hurts will start again. So she said that, and I think it's really very important to hear because putting down her gut was something new for her, and if we ask her to do it, force her to do it, we are asking her to get hurt all over again.
What is one quote that you also live by?
Breathe. Everything happens for a good reason.
Explain addiction to someone who doesn't really get it.
I like this question a lot, and I usually like this when anyone asks me is that we all can get obsessed with something or a substance or, okay, like example coffee or a behavior. But addiction is more than just an obsession. It goes beyond that, it goes beyond obsession, it goes beyond choice because there's some changes in your brain. So when someone is addicted or hooked onto a substance or a behavior, what happens is that the brain's basic survival needs for things such as usually air, water, food, etc. becomes hijacked by the need for this substance or behavior. So like example, for if we were to go without water for 4 days, what happens is that we will be very thirsty and we'll be like, our mind will just be fixated on where do I get the next drop of water from. Nothing else matters. So for someone who has addiction, it's a very similar thing because their basic instinct has been hijacked. So the need for the substance becomes as strong as the need for air and water. So what happens? They get very intense cravings, very, very intense, and that impairs their ability to think. So addiction is a chronic brain disease, very similar to chronic medical conditions like diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. So medical conditions like this, right, they need treatment, they need lifestyle changes. And actually similarly like addiction, a chronic brain disease, it also needs treatment, it also needs lifestyle changes, and definitely needs social support as well.
What advice would you give someone who just got into the company?
Oh, okay. Well, we started by being humble, being kind. This is the part where we are learning. So learn for everyone, every colleague, every client even. But then we have to take care of ourselves because as our client have a very long journey and we are the one walking with them on this long journey, we need to take care. So we want to be mentally and physically healthy. So take care of that for a newcomer. And also have a good support system because you're going to need a lot of that as you're doing this work. And have a good balance of your life also, not just work, but have a good balance of life as well. And most important, please read the Texas Pack. That is our book for addiction.
Teach me something.
Okay, so maybe you can do this together with me and hear me as we go. So maybe just put your hand on your chest and the other hand on your abdomen. And then just close your eyes and breathe naturally through your nose. Fill your abdomen fill up with oxygen and out through your mouth. We can do one more time. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And now you can open your eyes. How do you feel now?
If I were to give you $1 million right now, what would you do with it?
Yay! Well, that can do a lot of things, but something that came to my mind is that maybe I want to put the money in the bank first. Take some time, slowly consider how I want to do it. And one of the things that comes in are the charity causes that I'm interested in. So, but I don't want to just donate. So I want to maybe find out whether if and how it's possible to start a foundation for these causes. And then maybe also invest a bit so the money keep growing. But most important, carry on working at NAMS.
Tell us a secret.
I am very, very clumsy.
What is the most ridiculous misconception that you have heard about addictions or your job or NAMS?
Okay. Not sure it's ridiculous, but very common misconceptions are that for addiction that is about willpower, and that everyone with addiction is the same. So not true. Or about counseling would be that they think that all we do is we talk, and all we do is that we convince someone to do something that we want them to do. That's not true at all. The last part is about NAMS, which I very commonly hear from people, is that NAMS work with CMB, yeah? Actually, what it means is that NAMS work with CMB to arrest us, is it? So we come to you, that's it. We are going to be arrested. Also not true.
What are some things that patients struggle with?
I think two things come to mind. One is about judgment, and this judgment can come from themselves or from others, but this judgment leads to shame, which can be quite derailing for the recovery in the long term. And the other thing is about acceptance of who they really are. And sometimes patients or people are being asked to be like someone else, to be the perfect kind of person, and they kind of have to suppress who they really are. This leads to a lot of incongruence within themselves, and it leads to a lot of struggles, which is perhaps not very helpful when they're trying to do their recovery. But I also believe these two issues, judgment and acceptance, are also issues that people without addiction face as well.
Are you still in contact with patients who have recovered?
We don't really like the term recovered, because like chronic medical condition, as a chronic brain disease, right, the addiction can only be in recovery. Yeah, most clients will feel very skeptical or worried to use that term for themselves. But to your question, yes. So some of the clients, I still see them on a regular basis, and some will call me when they want to keep in touch. But I leave it up to them. I mean, I'm here when they want to talk.
If you became a blogger for NAMS, what would you blog about?
It'd be interesting if we actually do that, but I think I would like to maybe I can imagine doing like a 5-minute vlog where we talk about my start of the day, what I look forward to, and then some mental wellness tips for start of the day. And then maybe some that will be about end of the day, what I've seen, the work I've done, and then include some evidence-based studies, and maybe some wellness tip for end of the day situations as well. And then maybe some sharings or tips from clients themselves. I think it'll be interesting. So yeah, maybe mental wellness from the perspective of addiction.
What would your realistic superhero power be, and why?
Okay. In the past, right, I always think of X-Men, Professor X power. But in the last few years, I got really realistic and I only want one power. I want the ability to teleport. Imagine you can go anywhere you want in a split second just by thinking it. How much time I would save and where I can actually go.
What's your most ideal day at work?
I quite appreciate the current day that I have right now, where if I don't have clients yet, I will be working in my home office, and then I'll be like doing all the non-clinical work. And then when I have scheduled for clients, I will come in and see them.
How do you remember your patients?
Always with a smile. for them, wherever they are, whatever they are doing, I'm happy for them.
How important is family support during recovery?
Everyone absolutely needs social support, so 100%. So most clients of ours can get family support, and they always find that having understanding family support is very helpful for their recovery, short-term and long-term wise. However, not everyone could get family support, and in such situation, even close friends and others could be very supportive. So I have a client who couldn't get family support, and for her it was a very close friend in church and the church group that came to give her the understanding for her addiction, who gave her the practical support she needed, and also the acceptance for who she is. And because of that positive social support, she actually could get onto the path of recovery. So family support is definitely very, very important. And because of that, right, so even where I work, we are actually having groups for family members, and we even open it to public so that people could have more knowledge or could have some support. And even for individual family members, if they want more in-depth emotional support, more in-depth knowledge, they can still come to us. We have a special clinic for that.
So what are the top 3 apps that you use on your phone?
Google News, WhatsApp, and email.
How has your life changed since joining NAMS?
I actually talk a lot more here, coming here, and I think it's not because counselling needs me to talk, but it's more when I talk, I actually can respond. I respond to what people share with me, and I think that becomes a very important part, because perhaps before I come to NAMS, I will hear a story, a true account, and then I will just lay back and just let it be. But I learned that people need validation here. Everyone, in every way, in every small thing, all people really want is to know that someone cares. And if someone cares, someone will ask. So that's why I began to talk more over here. Ask more, talk more, validate more. Okay, thank you for staying all the way until now. And this is Eliza with 30 questions from NAMS.